So the world is really split into some distinct chunks.
Okay.
We have, from the content perspective, your character is a member of one of 5 races. And the main story of the game is these 5 races are all kind of at odds, and the story progresses as they slowly come together and they ally to fight against the Elder Dragons that are trying to conquer the world, basically. And so you're actually allied with all the other players on your server. You're never going to fight against them in PvE. You're always teammates. It's really important to us to have that because we're trying to build a sense of community with all the people who play our game. Our dynamic event system is based around that, where our events scale in difficulty, so the more players who get into the area, there's more stuff for them all to do. Our core combat system is set up so all the abilities you have, they're things that you can combo naturally with other players. So a necromancer can put down a poison cloud and you can shoot projectiles through it, and those projectiles now cause poison when they hit people. A guardian can go up and they can put down a shield that makes it so no projectiles can hit anybody inside of it, and all the other players can run inside the shield and get protected. There's a whole lot of combos like this all throughout the game where players are working together naturally just by looking at what other players are doing. So you're never set up to compete against other people. A lot of our basic gameplay rules work the same way. So if you start attacking a creature and I run up and help you kill that creature, we both get loot, we both get experience. There's no kill stealing, there's no creature owning, there's no creature locking. So it's about building a sense of community. That's what all of our content is about. So when you see another player, you don't go, oh God, this guy's going to come and he's going to steal my stuff. You're like, oh heck yeah, this guy's here, he's going to help me out, and this content's going to get more fun because there's now 2 of us, and it's going to scale in difficulty, and it's going to get more exciting. There's going to be more stuff for us to fight. So our PvE world is really about bringing all the players together and building a sense of community. Then in PvP, we have 2 core types of PvP. There's competitive PvP, which is 5-on-5, highly organized, very skill-based PvP. And then we have our world versus world PvP, which is open world, giant PvP. It's completely unbalanced numbers. You can have a battle of 100 people against 2, and then
we've been asking for.
Yeah, and then 80 people will run over the hill and join in the battle. It's giant keep sieges, and the idea on this one is your server is matched up against 2 other servers. So you keep that sense of community within your server. You guys are all on the same team together, and we want to build that bond. So you get to know the people on your server. You get to, through PvE and PvP, you recognize people's names. Like, oh, there's that guy. He's awesome at leading raids. Let's go in and we'll go in and we'll try to take the main keep.
So the whole server is one giant community, and there will be no verses within that server in these future fights, right?
Correct. Yeah. In World versus World, everyone on your server is your teammates, and you're up against 2 other servers that are the faceless, nameless bad guys that your server is trying to take down. And we rotate it so that
communication between the 2 worlds whatsoever.
We're still figuring out how all the details on that are going to work. It's important to us though that you feel a strong bond of community with your team, and that the other servers look and feel like they're the bad guys, and that they almost feel a little bit like mobs that are out roaming in the world that you're trying to take out. You can also, if you want to, you don't need to level up in PvE. You can exclusively level up from 1 to level 80 only in World versus World, if that's what you want to do. Entirely up to you. You can just go play that way all you want.
So the leveling speed, how does that feel in comparison to? I mean, I remember in factions, if I had way too much Red Bull, I could get a character from 1 to 20, in one weekend, and had a hoot, doing it. But how's the pacing on that? How long would you say it would take somebody who's doing the PvE content, if they're just playing pretty consistently? What's the time frame look like? Are we talking about it like 2 years to get to level 50? Or are we talking about 2 weeks or?
So we haven't figured out a final time frame of exactly how long it's going to take. It's going to vary, but the most important thing to us on that is that you should never feel like you need to grind to get another level so you can go do content. So what we're going to do is we're not going to decide how long it takes to complete the game until we have all the content in and we play the heck out of it and see what feels right. If it takes an hour to gain a level so that there's always something you can do for that full hour and you never feel like you need to stop and go kill, grind base mobs to get the next level, we'll set it in an hour. If it feels like it should be 2 hours for a level, we'll set it as 2 hours. We're not really in love with any specific number. All we want you to do is play the game from 1 to the level cap and have fun the whole way and never feel like you're locked off from content that you really want to do. We do a lot of things in the game to help support that as well. We have a sidekicking system. So you can go play with your friends wherever they are in the game world anytime you want, and you can get sidekicked up or down to their level. So if your girlfriend's playing the game and she jumps on and she's a level 1 character and you're level 60, and you want to play with her, you don't have to roll a brand new character and start all over with her again if you want. You can get sidekicked down to level 1, and you can just play all the way through with her if you want, and then jump back to your character, and you can bounce around in the game, so you can always play with your friends. And this goes back to that core message of community. That is the thing that matters to us, and you should always be able to play with your community, so we try to support that.
Two quick questions. I know I'm taking more time than I know.
We got lots of time, don't worry about it.
All right, so 2 questions. Heroes. Yep. Do we have heroes?
There are not heroes in Guild Wars 2. No. You could say to a degree that other players are your heroes in a sense, and you all work together. Now there is in your personal storyline, which is the story of your character. You get to, when you create your character, you're going to fill out a biography, and that biography determines who your character is and the storyline that you're going to experience at the start of the game. And everyone can pick very unique storylines, so they experience completely different personal stories than another player. And as you play through that personal story, you're going to get all these choices that you get to make that branch your story and change it from there, so you experience new content. Along the way, there are other characters, important characters in the game world. They're going to come along with you on your personal story. You're going to make choices about whether those characters live or die, or what becomes of those characters. Those characters are going to move into your home instance and live there, and you can go back and check in on them anytime. And they're going to change their dialogue based on the things that you've done playing through the game. So, to a degree, those are kind of your heroes. You're just not outfitting them and picking who's coming with you. You're making choices in your personal storyline that determines who those characters are, where they live in the game, and how they're coming through the game with you.
And you know, the other, that sounds fantastic. I mean, you're putting a lot of elements in here that have not been seen in the MMO worlds. Now, subscription-based. It's not subscription-based, or it's not subscription-based, correct?
There will be absolutely no subscriptions. You buy the game, you own it, you play it whenever you want.
Now, how is the rest of the MMO community of developers reacting to you creating content that is new content, more features, and no subscription fee? I mean, people are paying $20 a month still for these titles, and they're open world. Do you feel like this is the direction you want the industry to go in? Do you feel like this is the direction it should be going in? I mean, you guys used to be a beacon, the only person who did a free MMO, and now you come along and you've got an open world free MMO, and it's much more in depth. Have you heard of other people maybe changing their setup, how they're going to be charging, or?
So there's a couple questions there, I guess. The first one is really, you know, to find out what other people think about it, you'd have to ask them. I don't know. I think that you are starting to see some companies trending towards doing free play now. Some of the traditional MMOs that charge monthly fees are now starting to go free, and we're starting to see that. And I don't know if that's a direct result of us and our business model, or them choosing that this is now right for us at this time. Again, that's really a question for them. But I will say that, you know, what we're doing is the right thing for us. We feel that we don't need to charge a monthly fee for people to play our game, but every company should make that choice for themselves. They should decide what works for us, what services are we going to offer, how are we going to do this, and, you know, as long as they're offering services that are worthwhile for the monthly fee you're paying, that's fantastic. That's great. You know, I think everyone should ask when they're playing an MMO, what am I paying my monthly fee, and what am I getting out of it? And if you're getting enough out of it, that's great. We don't really view the other MMOs necessarily as direct competition for us. We're rooting for them. We want the other MMO companies to do well, because if the MMO industry is strong and the other companies are doing well, it's only going to help us too. We want this to be filled with really good games, so people love MMOs and they want to play their games and they want to play our games. And, you know, because we don't charge a monthly fee, you can play the other games and you can own Guild Wars and play it whenever you want.
Last question. Trade. Player-to-player trading.
Yes.
Do we have some kind of a central hub this time for like an auction house or a trading station? Did you guys implement something like this?
So there will be some sort of auction house marketplace thing in Guild Wars 2 for sure. We'll go into a lot of details about how all of that works a little bit further down the road.
Okay.
But there absolutely will be a very robust trading system where players can buy and sell and auction and everything.
Excellent.